Hey everybody, this is Drew. I'm here today playing a new game, and if any of you had a childhood like mine, then the scene in front of you should be pretty familiar. You're looking at realMyst. This is a remake of the original Myst game from 1993. In 2000, I believe, they remade Myst, which was kind of a 2D pre-rendered slideshow at the time, into a fully interactive 3D world that you could walk around. I did play that game at the time, and it was kind of clumsy. This seems to be much better. Basically what happened is even the 2000 remake is now pretty antiquated. So they went back through and made realMyst Masterpiece Edition this year. And as you can see, they've done an excellent job. They updated the engine. This now has some realistic looking water effects and everything. So just so you can experience Myst in its full glory, I'm actually going to start a new game so that you can see the whole thing, and I'll shut up. So here we go.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, the questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
So this was always a really iconic opening to me, but I love the soundtrack to this game. I always wondered if this book would have additional pages to it. Now, mind you, I haven't, or additional frames is what I mean. I haven't actually beat this game. I was very young when I played this game. I was probably, I don't know, early high school at the latest. And yeah, I never beat it, so I remember my way around the original island, but that's about it. So you guys get to watch me try and solve these. So I mentioned before they've remade this game previously and called it realMyst in 2000. One of the mistakes they made was that they made the game completely free roam, which is cool. It's kind of like a typical 3D game nowadays, except that it didn't quite fit Myst. It kind of broke the experience. The original authors of Myst were very careful to frame things in Myst the way, artistically, the way you would expect to see them, and they would give certain hints in the framing of the camera, so you would miss things by not having those camera angles. So I'm going to leave it on classic Myst. They actually give you an option to right click and kind of look around as well as have the original camera angles, so I'm going to leave it on the original option. So like I mentioned before, the water looks really good. It's pretty cool. We got some nice motion blur going on here. Everything's very smooth, it runs very well. And we're really impressed with it so far. It looks kind of like what you would expect from a modern day Unity game. 67. And their panel. Sounds in this game are always really iconic too. So that's pretty cool. So some things like this wasn't actually a 3D animation before. It was just a QuickTime movie. Everything was a slideshow and a QuickTime movie. I'm curious to see what the water turbulent pool is like now. It's a 67. See, now this is actual real water surface. That's cool. One thing I do remember is turning on the marker switches around the island. I think that's the first thing you're supposed to do out here, but I like that door, so. And they have these interactive guides on here too. I'm gonna turn these off actually. Kind of. I remember liking this huge gear as a kid. I think you can go around it. So kind of what I was demonstrating before. So like, say I wanted to look at the gear. When I was a kid, I couldn't do that, but now I can. I have this ability to free look. And there's even weather now. There's a night and day cycle, and maybe just night and day, but it might be weather too. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's pretty cool either way. I can like turn and look at this phone and see what it looks like. They've done an amazing job with this. Like, it looks almost as good as, you know, the original renderings, which just shows you how far we've come. It's been almost 20 years since this game was released. Actually, it's been over 20 years. Sorry. Catherine, I have left for you a message of utmost importance in our floor chamber beside the dock. Here are the number of marker switches on the island. Into the imager and retrieve the message. Floor's address. So, how many did I turn on? 2? Yep, 2. So, I gotta stop doing that. 3. I'm not gonna go into anything yet. I'm just gonna go around the island. Rocket ship. Did the library actually have one? I guess not. Five, maybe. It's looking like 8. 6. Oh. Can't turn that on. There's 7. It's over here. Can I go over here? 8. I'm gonna guess 8. Yeah. Let's go back and get our message. Oops. Camera's kind of jerky, but other than that, it's really cool. Whoa, computer froze. Hopefully you're still with me here. Let's enter number 8 in here and see what we get.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Agonal, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return, but if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
Okay. So it's specifics like that that I don't remember. I can't remember the one son's name, but one was Akamar. And actress here suspects that one of them has destroyed his library. So, he said remember the tower rotation if you can't remember the codes. Which I know there is a rotating tower in the library here. I don't remember what this is. Dentist chair, I do remember this. This must be an observatory. Pretty cool. That actually, a bit of trivia. Anybody remember what this sound was? Back in the 90s? That was actually the AIM sign on and sign off sound of this door. Sounds like people signing on and off. So here's the library. Oops. Pictures. And the red and blue book. This is really highly detailed. You can take these pages and put them in books.
Bring me a red page. I can't see it.
He says, "Who are you? Bring me a red page. I can't see." think that's Cirrus, maybe? Can't remember.
Serious? Is that you?
Cirrus.
Who are you? See you. You know. Help me. Bring me blue pages.
So he wants blue pages. So that's Akamar and the other one's Sirius. Or Cirrus, whatever. And if I remember... Yep. Drops the bookcase. It's amazing how much this looks exactly like the pre-rendered frames. They did an excellent job on this. I remember there being a fireplace that you could punch stuff into. You could draw this pattern in it. It would unlock things. I thought it was in here, but maybe not. Looked like you could go behind that thing. I'm quickly exhausting my knowledge of the island. Oh yeah, you can rotate the tower and look at these various things using this panel here. I'm gonna find out just how little I know here quickly. This I think opens the door. Yep. Maybe this is the fireplace. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a code that you have to type into that. I'm glad I found that. I remembered that. Huh. And then these, you have to either flip them all on or something. I think they're all green. I don't remember what this is about. Maybe you have to raise the boat, I think. You have to flip all these on. I think. This was actually my favorite puzzle down here. These both, actually. I liked this one here because I liked electricity as a kid. I thought this was the coolest thing. There are a bank of generators in here. yeah. 99. Yeah, I blew the breaker. I remember there's a breaker around here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Power to ship. Yeah, this is the power to the rocket ship. So I have to go fix the breaker. I'm not sure how much power you're supposed to give it. Yeah, this was like the hardest thing to find. I think that was it. There's another one around somewhere, I think. There's another tower at least. Oops. Getting all turn around here. So yeah, that was part of the challenge with the initial mist. It's understanding where the hell you were. This actually makes it a lot easier by flying you there. Maybe I have to reset this one as well. Yeah, there we go. Hear the difference? That's where it blew. Alright. So, this was also one of my favorite puzzles. I think somebody signs in every time. Works pretty well. Let me try all these first, and read the books in the library. I would not have wanted to design this game because it would have been a pain in the ass to make all these different angles. Their corresponding switches off and on in various combinations. That's all of them. I did notice this up here. There's an arrow and a moon and something. We're on a moon. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Arrow. Snake cross. Eye. I'm gonna read these books. guess I'll read this. I've called this age Channelwood, and it's a very different world. Though it's exactly how I imagined it, it's still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere, there are only trees which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passages are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built long ago, for they appear aged. I'm eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I've arrived here late and must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one on which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that I would have never expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As we walked, I began to notice that the water below us was changing colors. Slowly, subtly, they would change from a deep blue to a muddy orange, then muddy orange to beautifully clear. I was so intrigued by the water I hardly noticed that we had arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to their village, which was about 10 meters above the water, and can only be reached by rope ladders that stretch from the lower paths to the village level, approximately halfway up the grand trees. It's very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks. Even after watching them for hours, I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the center of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a meter off the floor on a thick throne. Guards surrounded this strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic, colorful fabrics. Next to the leader sat a very old human, at least to some extent he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely gray, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply, by an almost grotesque neck that could not hold its head up to look at me. But what a surprise, this creature could speak my language. Shortly thereafter I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he's old beyond his own reckoning and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They're treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He's adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself has told me he had not spoken our own tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. Following is the best translation of what he's told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings, which happened randomly, some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day, things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees, where they gradually died out, maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I'm not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me, although many details are very unclear in my mind. I'm especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own. Yet the old man believes the truth of the story as if he had been there. And the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if he/they were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I'll never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about rest and sleep. Then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their head. All the while he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally he turned to me, smiled, closed his eyes, walked out the door, and off the narrow path high in the trees. The tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body he had fallen onto a lower level of the walkway and carry it away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion, one of the tree creatures lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As this strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creature would watch me, curious to see what I'll do next. They're constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon, so that I may learn more from them. I've lived on this world now for 3 months off and on. The tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I've decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and my sons, and hopefully return with them. However, I'm sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Cirrus and Achenar will react to its curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind, as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers, and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt that it won't be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers better than myself. I'm leaving tomorrow to check on Osmoenage. Cirrus has suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay. Though the idea unsettles me, I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while. So I'll consent to their request. I warned the boys not to take advantage of the respect of the tree dwellers. Not to take advantage of the respect the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith they'll follow. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in Everdunes, I learned that Pran and her people are continuing to be menaced by the chaotic Coctic. I fear for their survival and plan on returning to her shortly after checking on Cirrus and Achenar here. See Everdunes journal for more information. After watching Cirrus and Achenar, I see they're handling things very well, and I think I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in channel again. Jesus, it's long. Should see how long this is. That's not terrible. And for a little longer time. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I'm leaving, but are happy that Cirrus and Achenar are staying behind again. I've been gone for over 3 days and have been to many different places. I had to tell Cirrus and Achenar about Pran's death today, and they were visibly shaken, although they only remembered her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested that it would be wise for Cirrus and Achenar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They'll be returning with me when I leave again. I've told my sons that they'll be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling me of an adventure they experienced in my absence, and it was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways out into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures, and it reminded me of my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me their many inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see now that the inks have changed from black. I thought they were to various different colors. I've shown some of the creatures my journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humor. Even now, as I look through this very colorful journal, I can't help but laugh at myself. We'll be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They've told me that they would like to come to Channelwood again. I also asked if they can visit some of the other ages alone. Though I'll have to think over their request, I believe they have proven to me that they're trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they're ready for travel alone. For now, I must give my farewells to the creatures, for I do not know how long it will be until I visit this age again. Future Bridge. Oops. I'm assuming this was a sketch of Channelwood. And it sounds like green represents sorrow. Blue might represent like happiness. I can't really tell. Blue seems happy and green seems... Green seems unhappy and blue seems happy maybe. I'm not sure. I assume it would correlate to mood. Interesting. Okay. What else do we have here? Ugh. Really long. What's this? Oh, here's these at least. Submersible lamp. I remember seeing this thing somewhere. Stone ship age. Okay, some different constellations. What those are, and they kind of look like what they represent. See, I never read any of this as a kid. Oops. Collect heat, radiant chasm. Instead of 8. Sounds like... Oh, this is how to start the ship. I remember this. There's like an organ inside the ship. So many books. Turn it on. Oh, see, here's the, this is for the fireplace. Take pictures of a lot of these. This is craziness. Every single one of these you can take and open. There are lots of secrets in here. The stone ship channel one. These actually have titles. You can barely read them. The Selectic Age of Mist. We'll see what 4-0 does in there. The hell not. Oh, see? This is interesting. Like the weather cycles. There's actually a flashlight in here too. Pretty cool. It's weird seeing this in such a different fashion. You almost shouldn't be able to see mist like this. It's just a topographical test. Weak. We already saw that. You said if you forgot the codes, you use the tower. Oh yeah, and you have to rotate. So let's see if we can figure out what's up with the clock tower here. Turn this flashlight on. I can't get over there to turn it on. It stops on various things. Awesome. Wondering how many bolts of those. Do that first. looking. Okay. Being careful not to pop our breakers. Let's see what we can do here. This is the biggest one, I think. 22. It's 8. I think that's what we need. Yeah, there's our organ. Oh, I remember. Yep. So this is a musical code here, and it aligns with the code that we found in the book. Is this one? This is a lot of keys. One. Let's see. It's low C, high C. Now it's on the other side. Low C, high C. Two to the right. One on the edge. Black one on the edge. Low C, high C. Two to the right. Edge, black edge. Alright, let's see if we can remember this. This is not going to be that easy. I'm not cheating. I'm not writing it down. We'll see. It's cheating, but let's see if I can do it. So low C. Okay. Yep, that's right. Alright, high C. Okay. High C, haha, get it. Okay. And what was this one? Was this one? I think. Yep. 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 Okay. It was this one. That's it. I thought. Right? Maybe it was that one. No, it was here. Maybe this was the high C. Fuck. I'm gonna go look again. Thought I had it right. Memory is not my strong suit. It's a low C. It wasn't the high C. Okay, so it was low C, high C, 2 to the right, like 5 or so to the left, and then the low black one on the edge. Alright, that's what I fucked up. That last note. I'm probably gonna remember it when I hear it. That was it. So. That's it, I think. There you go. Whoa. I like how they've retained the original videos for this. Let's go here. And I can't get back in. Okay, so now I'm officially lost. Like, I have never played this portion of it. So, alright, we're gonna save this for another day. But, appreciate you guys playing along with